Hello again and welcome to lesson 2 of You Can Do Math. So today, or for this video I should say, we'll be talking about subtraction. So subtraction is just the opposite of addition. And then, like a good thorough school teacher, I will write that on the board so you can gaze upon it in its full glory. So how do we subtract? Well, best way to learn about that is to go through an example. Suppose we take a simple example and say 7 minus 2. What would that be? Well, we can use our fingers to do it. So first we put up 7 fingers, we take away 2 of them, put 2 of them down, and then we have what we have left, 5 fingers. So that's easy enough. 7 minus 2 is 5. Here again I'd like to reiterate a point I made in my other video. It's not uncommon for children to get scolded for counting on their fingers or using their fingers for basic math. And I like to say that there's nothing wrong with counting on your fingers or using them like that. So if it helps you learn it, count on your fingers. No big deal at all. Suppose we have a more complicated subtraction problem. We have 11 minus 5, say. What would that be? Well, once again, we can rearrange this to make it a little easier. So we'd write it top to bottom like this. Okay. So now we have a little problem. We can't yet subtract 5 from 1. So what we do, we're going to do something called borrowing a 10, or borrowing a 1. So we cross this out and put the little 1 here. So we're back again to 11 minus 5. That doesn't really help, but it's helpful later on. I'll give another example of that. So once again, we can use a sort of a tally method to get the answer. So what we first do is I'm going to make 11 tally marks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then I'm going to put cross marks going left to right to represent the 5 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then how much do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our answer is going to be 6. The traditional method of teaching subtraction involves, once again, memorizing either using flashcards or whatever, or exercises to memorize all the single-digit results from subtracting numbers. But it's not really necessary to go through all that memorization when you can use a method like this. Well, of course, through practice, you will find that you start memorizing these numbers, or memorizing the common results. Look at another example. Say we have 33 minus 18. Okay, we can't subtract 8 from 3, at the moment anyway. So what we do is we cross out the 3, write a 2, borrow 1, we're back to 13. We have 13 minus 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then for the 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How much do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be 5. And here we have 2 minus 1. Well, you can either do that on your fingers or in your head. It's pretty easy. So that's going to be 15. Pretty easy. Or as I like to say, everything is easy when you know what to do. Let's look at another two-digit example. So if we have 69 minus, say, 24. This one's a little easier. Since 9 is bigger than 4, we don't have to do any of that stuff with borrowing and carrying or borrowing a 10. So we start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And for the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is left. So there's our 5. And for 6 minus 2, you can do that on your fingers if you felt like it. But I'll do it with the tally marks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. 4 left, so it's going to be 45. I think that's pretty straightforward there. Let's do a couple more complicated examples before moving on. So suppose we have 789 minus 696. Okay, so 9 minus 6 you could do on your fingers, but I'll use the tally method. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 left. 8 minus 9, since the 9 is on the bottom is bigger, we got to borrow 1. So 7 crossed out becomes 6. Put a 1 over here, we got 18 minus 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then what's left? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 down there. And then we have 6 minus 6, which is 0. We could write the 0, but generally when a number turns out to be 0 like this, we don't have to write it. We could do it anyway here just to be thorough. So it's 93 basically is our answer. Here's as good a time as any, I suppose, to introduce the concept of rounding. So the rounding is useful for checking your answers. So suppose I have a similar kind of problem where I had, say, 848 minus 351. Before I do the actual math, I can get an idea of what the answer should be. So the 848. I can round that to, say, 800, and the 351 I can round that to about 300. So if I say 800 minus 300, I get about 500. So our answer should be pretty close to 500, just a quick eyeball. And this is the kind of skill that's useful for when you're first starting to use a calculator. You want to make sure you're punching in the numbers right. So to make sure that you're using it properly, you can round the numbers and then work it out quickly by hand and then use a calculator, or if you're unsure for any reason. But going back to using the traditional method, okay, 8 minus 1, you can do that on your fingers with tally marks. We'll do it with tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take away 1. What's left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 is bigger than 4, so we got to borrow. Cross out the 8, write 7. Put a little 1 here. So that's 14 minus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 7 minus 3. On your head or in your fingers, I'll do tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3. It's going to be, it should be 4, but it looks like I have 5 there. I think I had one too many tally marks. And everybody makes mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's 4. So there's our answer. So from our first initial guess, we said it would be about 500, and the real answer turned out to be 497. So pretty close. And that's the power of rounding to make math a little easier. And I suppose the last thing, well, the second to last thing I'll talk about before wrapping up this lesson here. Seems like this is as good a time as any to talk a little bit about negative numbers. So far, we've only talked about positive numbers, but there are also negative numbers. So a very easy to grasp concept of negative numbers would be debt, like owing somebody money. So if you say, or rather, if you have no money at all, but you still owe someone some money, that amount of money is negative. So to give an example of that, let's see. Let me just put a little break there for a new idea. So you started with $20, and you spent it all, and now you have $0. And then somebody, I don't know, calls in a favor or whatever, and they say you need to pay them another $10. So since you don't have any now, and someone put in another obligation on you, you now have negative $10. There's a simple way of thinking about it. So you owe money. Negative numbers aren't too tricky. As far as addition is concerned and otherwise. The main thing to remember is that a negative number let's see, let me rephrase that. Adding a negative number is the same as subtracting a positive number. For all you verbal and otherwise learners, I like to write it out in words like that. Makes it a little easier for them. So for example, if I have, I don't know, 5 plus negative 8, that's the same as 5 minus 8. And you can use the cross-out method to find the result of that. You just sort of have to do it in reverse. You write the, well, you could do it the same way. You could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have, for the 8, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So then that would be negative 3. The reason I use this method, if you've been wondering why I used it earlier, is it makes it clear what's positive and what's negative. So if you're circling a bunch of negative signs, your answer is going to be negative. So that's one way of looking at it there. And the other main rule to remember with negative numbers is that subtracting a negative number is the same as adding a positive number. Looks like those markers are getting ready to die. Have no fear, I have plenty extra. Give an example of that using the same numbers. If instead of 5 plus negative 8, if I had 5 minus negative 8, that would be the same as 5 plus 8. And using our tally mark method, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then, well, let's see, yeah, 5 and 8, 4, 5, well, getting my tally mark methods confused. My mistake. You have to go back to the addition tally mark method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5 and 5 is 10. 3 more would make that 13. So this is, I have 2 tally mark methods, one for addition and one for subtraction. So that's pretty much the gist of negative numbers as far as addition and subtraction go. I guess I'll go ahead and try and tie this all together with kind of a real life example. So you get $200 on payday. You spend what was it? Say you spend 150 of it. And then your car breaks down and the repair is, I don't know, $80. How much debt are you in? Okay, so assuming that on payday you were either you had balance of 0. You're starting with $200 on payday. What happens after you buy some stuff and then your car breaks down? Okay, you can break this into steps. So first you start out with 200 and then you spend 150. Okay? Okay, so 0 minus 0 is easy enough. It's going to be a big 0. 0 minus 5 we can't do yet. Cross out the 2. Put it in a 1. Got 1 here. 10 minus 5, you can do that on your fingers. So that would be 5. Then 1 minus 1 is 0. You don't have to write the 1. So after getting paid and then spending some money, you got 50 bucks left. Okay, but then your car breaks down and you got to spend $80 on the repair. So you have the 50 and then minus the 80. Okay, 0 minus 0, easy enough. 5 minus 8. Here's where we can use a tally method. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for the 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's going to be a minus 3. So after all these events have transpired, you're $30 in the hole. So I suppose, you know, to pay for your car repair, since you didn't have any cash, you used a credit card. So you put $30 on the credit card, and that represents your debt. Well, that's about all I have to say for subtraction. Once again, I'll reiterate that the best way to get better at math of any kind, whether it's arithmetic or anything higher, is to practice. So if you want to get better, always look for practice problems. If you any problem that comes along, try and do it by hand first. And in our next video, we'll be moving on to multiplication. So thanks for watching, and I hope this video was useful to you.